second, there are also other factors involved in this. I personally believe that eating a high-carb diet with a lot of sugar in it, which is basically 95% of all Western people. They eat a lot of grain, they eat a lot of bread, they drink beverages with a lot of added sugar in them. They eat a lot of potatoes and fries and all that, potato chips and cookies kind of stuff, and it's all carbohydrates, and that certainly adds to your stress levels. Third, today's society is a lot more fast-paced. People want to work a lot. There's a lot of high demand on working hard, high productivity, and sometimes people tend to neglect times like recovery and rest, and therefore they experience a lot more stress and end up activating their stress response and their sympathetic nervous system a lot more. Whereas back in the day, people would like hunt for a couple hours, and then what they did for the rest of the day was just to chill back with people and play around, basically. And that has changed a lot. Another thing that influences our stress levels is the level of the social hierarchy that we're in. For example, Robert Sapolsky, he also did a lot of research with monkeys in Africa, and he examined these tribes, and he really looked at the social hierarchy, and he found that the monkeys lowest in rank in the social hierarchy, they had elevated levels of the stress response and sympathetic activity. You could also observe that these monkeys, they get groomed less, and they get picked on by other monkeys more often. Whereas those monkeys higher in the social hierarchy, they get groomed more often and get picked on almost never. So these monkeys, they don't get mocked as often because they are the top dog. And what they found was that these monkeys, they had almost no stress at all, and when they examined the health challenges of both the monkeys, they saw that those monkeys higher in the social hierarchy, they had less health challenges, whereas those monkeys that got picked on more often, and they had all these things like stomach ulcers, more damage to their cardiovascular system, and all these other things that Sapolsky mentions in his book. You can watch a documentary on this on YouTube, I believe. I saw it on there. It's called "Stress: A Portrait of a Killer," and it's a really excellent documentary. It even showed in there that the place that you store fat in your body can depend on which rung of the social hierarchy you're in, because they showed that these monkeys were more likely to store fat inside of their tummies if they were lower in the social hierarchy and experience more stress on a consistent basis. And I thought that was pretty wild, but it's a really good documentary. I suggest you look it up and watch it. In the documentary, he really highlights the parallels between the human realm and the monkey realm. He shows that in organizations that people that are in high management positions, they experience less stress, while those people in the bottom rungs, they have to take a lot more shit, like from those people that are their superiors. And I think a lot of that can really be improved upon, because an organization is not about social hierarchy. I think an organization is about delivering value to people, creating quality products and delivering quality services. It's not about who can boss who around. But as Sapolsky states in this documentary, are we humble enough to learn from a group of monkeys? As a final point in something that really attributes in chronically elevated levels of this sympathetic activity and thus more stress is having had traumatic negative experiences and not being able to process or complete these events. Because when you don't find a way to find some consolidation with these negative traumatic experiences, what is going to happen is that when you just walk around about your life, basically, you're constantly going to be looking out for threats, because oh, what if this negative thing is going to happen to me again? I'm not going to be prepared for it. And this keeps you constantly hypervigilant and anxious, and thus triggering your stress response on a consistent basis. And you're going to have all these negative associations to your health, but also in simply the way you think and behave and are able to perform in your life. Daniel Goleman talks about this in his book Vital Lies, Simple Truths, and he talks about our mind's tendency to narrow in whenever we experience fear or any other type of negative emotion. When we experience fear, we have to narrow our attention to focus on the object of the fear, like which is most of the time the threat or the stressor. The problem with anxiety or being in the state of hypervigilance is that there really isn't an object to focus on. Yet our minds tend to narrow and focus in on just these things. And our attention and our thought patterns get narrowed down into these basic survival needs for safety, and a lot of time also for social acceptance. So we start worrying about whether or not we fit in within the social context, what other people think of us, and it's basically mostly focused on do I have social acceptance within the groups in my life that I live in. And of course we only have a certain amount of level of focus at any time. So whenever we use energy and focus to think or put our attention upon getting social acceptance and worrying about all these basic things like safety and social acceptance, we can't use that energy to focus on ourselves and making our lives better, setting goals for ourselves and pursuing those goals by putting energy and effort into activities that are going to help us achieve those goals. Barbara Fredrickson, she has a theory called broaden and build theory of positive emotions, and basically what it refers to is the same idea, only also in the action realm. And she states that the more positive emotionality that you have, the more your attention and your thinking and therefore your acting tends to expand, and you see more possibilities for acting. And you could call this a behavioral range or a behavioral repertoire. It basically gets expanded. And what this means is that when you are in a state of positive emotionality, you can do more creative thinking. You can have breakthroughs, and you can act in more ways. Basically, you can have an expanded range for thinking, being, and acting. And when you have all these negative lingering emotions, or you're constantly in a state of fear or anxiety, then those ranges, they will get narrowed, and you get focused in on simple things. And most of these things have to do with basic survival needs, like feeling safe and getting social acceptance. And you don't get to think out of the box. You get to act in ways that are safe and predictable. You tend to stick with the way you've always done things, and anything that's outside of that is not going to even register for you. And you can't even think of these ways because those ways are outside of those ranges. And you really only get access to these ranges when you eliminate the level of stress in your life and those negative, lingering negative emotions. And finally, I also think it's important that you really examine whether or not your needs are met, and getting those needs met in a quality way, because if your needs aren't adequately met, then that can also be stressful. If you take these ideas and you apply them, you can really bring down the unnecessary levels of stress in your life, and you can unlock more of that positive emotionality, which will bring more broader attention, behavior, and thought repertoire, which can lead to creativity, breakthroughs, and can also help you to achieve your goals. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I'm out.